Hello everyone in the Midwest and the US of A. The Great Lakes Railroader is back. Now, things have been somewhat crazy for me to deal with lately. Like I said in my Locomotive Works triple feature video, I may or may not be posting as often as I used to, on account of I have some matters in life that I need to take care of. Then there's the weather. With cold temperatures in the forecast, rail fanning for me at least is still out for the season. Now believe me when I say I would rather do some rail fanning when the temperatures are warm out, including when it's sunny. But not to worry, there's still plenty of videos of trains I've recorded. Right now, I have a video that's currently in the process of production, but due to complications, it was put on hold when I came down ill a while back in early February. It's also taking longer than expected to complete as a result. So while it's on hold, I did some digging to see what I can come up with. Sure enough, I found some pictures and videos I took when I was at the Holland Modular Railroad Club's train show in Zeeland back in December of 2023. So while we wait for the next video to come out, let's take a look at the Holland Modular Railroad Club's train show of 2023. It's not often when people get the opportunity to see a steam locomotive in action. The sound of the steam trains chuffing and its sound of the bell and whistle as it rolls down the tracks. But most of the time, we hear the sound of diesel-electric trains as they also roll down the tracks, with the exception of its train horn instead of a steam whistle.
Get in and you'll have to start slowing down, but not yet.
Not yet.
For the hobby enthusiasts, there's also model railroading with model trains from a variety of scales they can choose from. In this video, we'll be touring around a layout that shows model steam and diesel trains running throughout the layout.
Oh, really? Yeah. Cool.
It's mid-December of 2023, and we're at the Zeeland Public Library, where on the bottom floor, the Holland Modular Railroad Club hosts its annual train show. The HMRC puts on a show running its model trains, ranging from steam, electric, and diesel electric, including freight cars from trackside customers and fallen flags. They often have two train shows, one in a separate location. Zeeland and South Haven, Michigan were the two locations the HMRC chose to host its train show. We'll be taking a look at the HMRC's train show in Zeeland. Perhaps the first train we'll be wanting to look at is this model of a General Electric ES44C4. The actual locomotive on the rails today is 73 feet and 2 inches long, and its wheel arrangement is A1A-A1A with high-add bolsterless trucks. It has a rate of 4,400 horsepower with a GEVO 12 engine installed. The ES is short for General Electric's Evolution series. The 44 is the amount of horsepower it has, about 4,400 horsepower. It also has 4 traction motors mounted on its trucks, with only the 2 center axles being unpowered. This is what the C4 suffix stands for. Unlike GE's similar model, the ES44AC, it has 6 traction motors instead of 4. which also makes it a little heavier. But both model diesels have alternating current traction motors for better performance instead of the direct current traction motors. Ironically, the ES44C4 has the same running number of the Pere Marquette in Owasso, 1225. There also happens to be a CSX EMD MP15T that might have the same running number on CSX's present-day roster. Now, I don't know if it is on the tracks with the same running number, but who knows. As we record the train, you can see a Santa and his reindeer on one of the intermobile cars, and two Christmas trees in a gondola car, along with a chassis system and CSX boxcar closer to the locomotive. Recording the train passing through, we can see a boxcar with the HMRC's name on it. We also see a billboard that has the classic Acme Corporation name on it, along with the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Now, I happen to be big on Looney Tunes, and I was laughing on the inside when I saw it. If you or you know someone who happens to be big on Looney Tunes, be sure to share this and tell them about it. The next train we're looking at pulling into the sidetrack is a GE-840CM. The actual length is 71 feet and 8 inches long, with a rate of 4,000 horsepower, and weighs in at either 388,000 to 395,000 pounds. 84 of these -840CMs were built.
Go on, keep going. Oh, wait a second, you can't do that.
The locomotive coming up behind it is an EMD GP high hood unit in the markings of the Illinois Central. Two of these high hoods were running at the time, with only one running at different times of the day. Believe it or not, this Illinois Central diesel is running long hood forward. The Southern Railway had high hood EMDs in its roster before merging with the Norfolk and Western, becoming Norfolk Southern. V12 Productions made a video on the high hood Norfolk Southern operates. These high hoods are becoming increasingly rare to see on the railroad. I've actually seen a real high hood when I was vacationing near Marquette, but knew little about it at the time. Also, I failed to get video of it on account of my phone's camera being in picture mode. I was only able to get a picture of a Canadian National maintenance truck going onto the rails. Though I still remember seeing the high hood in action, and it looked to have been with the Burlington Northern at one point, but I couldn't be sure. So let me know in the comments section if you have any information if the BN did have and use high hood diesels or not. Our next locomotive is Union Pacific Big Boy number 4014, a 4884 articulated steam locomotive. The Big Boy was constructed by the Schenectady Locomotive Works in 1941, which happens to have been part of the American Locomotive Works. 4014 is still around today on the Union Pacific as it tours the USA on its railroad on special occasions.
That's why he's building it. His situations like that, building it. He can go on the switch and make it on the way. I was okay. Thought this was labeled 9.
Also on the layout is a model of Union Pacific's gas turbine diesel number 55, hauling a string of boxcars out of the siding.
It'll save one derailment, they say. What the heck? There we go.
You had what?
If it'll save one derailment, they say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. You see my artist?
Ben, look at my artist there.
Oh, the.
In this shot, we can see one of Union Pacific's heritage units on display. This heritage unit is in the paint scheme of the Western Pacific. This heritage unit is still out there working on the rails, as well as other heritage units different railroads have running in the USA, like CSX and Norfolk Southern. While I was filming this, we see Big Boy number 4014 passing through. This has got to be a great shot between a Union Pacific steam train and a Union Pacific heritage unit. In this shot, we can see a South Shore electric train coming around the bend. Coming out of the station, we can see Amtrak's Acela being pulled by an HHP-8 built by Bombardier. These European trains Amtrak own run the northeast corridor of the USA, running at a top speed of 150 miles an hour.
And then they would
As we see the Acela pulling out, we can see what looks to be an EMD SD70ACE. The actual length of an EMD SD70ACE is 74 feet and 3 inches, and it weighs in at either 420,000 pounds to 432,000 pounds. It had two engine models that can be fitted to the railroad's needs. They are the 16-710G3C-T2 to the 16-71G3C-T3, both of which can produce 4,300 horsepower. These locomotives are equipped with HCTR radical trucks with a C-C wheel arrangement. Most likely, it is equipped with alternating current traction motors, given that it has the AC suffix in the model. As we see the Amtrak Acela pass through, we can see a model train that looks to be out of the United Kingdom. On the inside of the second passenger car, it looks like it has some computer equipment inside. It appears to be one of the geometry trains I've been hearing so much about. The purpose of a geometry train is that it inspects the rails for any faults that can potentially derail a train. While we waited for the next model train to pass, we get a shot of 5 cabooses parked on a side track, 3 of which are in the paint scheme of the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe, 1 in the lettering of the Baltimore and Ohio, and 1 of the Chessie system. This Chessie system caboose still sports the lettering of the Chesapeake and Ohio. We now see our next train come into view. While we've seen some Soo Line cars, we get a chance to see a train that is all Soo Line. This train has a Soo Line hide hood leading the train, most likely short hood forward. This Soo Line diesel was pulling a string of Soo Line boxcars and a Soo Line caboose at the time I was here.
Okay, no road bed. Can you still buy it? You can buy it with the road bed on it.
One of the kids there thought it was a long train, and it was long, for a model train at least. I might even think that this train has a long history with the Soo Line. Now I overheard one of the HMRC members talking about the coal train that runs to the power plants north of Holland while I was recording. I knew what she was talking about and joined the conversation, saying that I've seen how long it was. I filmed it back in August of 2023, and it took me about 7 minutes. Granted that it was going slow at the time around a curve, heading towards the Grand Rapids subdivision. I've also counted the number of hoppers it was pulling, and it pulled 130 empty hoppers. I'll be uploading the video of it in the future. Our last locomotive we see is a model of an EMD F3 diesel in Denver and Rio Grande Western painting, though we've never got to see it in action. Though while I strolled through browsing the layout, I've took some pictures of the layout. Some of the layout happened to have been part of a scavenger hunt I've done while I was recording the trains. Some of them were easy to find, like this Kraft Heinz food factory, a Volkswagen dealership, and a herd of deer. I managed to find them all during my visit, and some of them were hard to find. People can also see one part of the layout as a special railroading moment in history, the driving of the Golden Spike. This signified the completion of the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad. There's also a train station that happens to be adjacent to the neighboring rail yard. Just down the line from the train station is a lumber mill where trains have access to drop off train cars to be loaded. There were also other buildings and displays that were there. Train shows happen to be a fun time for everyone of all ages. Whether you're young, old, disabled, a model train enthusiast, or even a rail fan, it is great to see. Now I've been going to these train shows the HMRC hosted before I was a rail fan, but up to now, I haven't been to one for a long time. If you want to see these train shows for yourself, the Holland Modular Railroad Club has a Facebook page you can check out. They post the upcoming events of their train shows and where they'll be hosting them. If you only want to watch the model trains in action without the commentary, I'll be posting a separate video where you can enjoy watching them. Also, if you wanted to, be sure to check out V12's video on Norfolk Southern's high hood diesels. There's a link in the description below that will take you to his video. It better explains how these high hood diesels operated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.